Commander Lee Daeho stood in the deep underground control room, watching the dark screens that showed nothing but empty space. For 200 years, Earth had been silent. No radio signals going out, no messages to the stars, just watching and listening. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of computers. Lee had worked here for 20 years, keeping Earth hidden from whatever was out there in the galaxy. His job was simple: make sure nobody found them. "Sir, we have something," said Dr. Park Somin, the head scientist. Her voice was calm, but Lee could hear the worry in it. She was looking at her computer screen with wide eyes. Lee walked over to her desk. "What is it?" "Multiple ships. Coming from the edge of our solar system. They're broadcasting signals in languages we don't know." Park pointed at the screen. "But sir, these aren't attack signals. They're asking for help." Lee felt his heart beat faster. In all his years of watching space, this had never happened. Earth had rules about this. If aliens came, humans would stay hidden. It was safer that way. "How many ships?" Lee asked. "At least 50? Maybe more." "They're big, sir. Really big." Park touched her screen and the display changed. "They're sending the same message over and over. Our computers are trying to translate it." Captain Kim Taewon entered the room quickly. He was the best pilot Earth had, flying ships that could hide from any enemy. His face was serious. "Commander, my scouts report something else. There are more ships coming behind the first group, and these new ones, they look different. Dangerous." Lee closed his eyes for a moment. After 2 centuries of peace, everything was changing. "Show me what you have." Kim pressed a button and a large screen lit up. It showed space near their solar system. Dots of light moved slowly toward them. The first group looked like normal spaceships, but behind them darker shapes followed. These ships were huge and looked wrong somehow, like machines mixed with living things. "The first ships are running away from the second group," Kim said. "It looks like a chase." Dr. Park stood up. "Commander, I think I understand part of their message. They're saying something about devourers and last hope. They sound scared." Lee had made hard choices before, but never like this. Earth safety had always come first, but now people were asking for help, and whatever was chasing them might find Earth anyway. "Sir," said Engineer Choi Mi-young as she entered the room. She was young but very smart, the person who built Earth's best hiding technology. "I've been listening to their signals. The running ships have damage. Their engines are failing. If we don't help them, they'll die. And if we do help them, we might all die," Lee said. "Those things chasing them will find us." The room was quiet. Everyone knew the rules. Earth stayed hidden. It was the law that kept them safe. But laws were made by people, and people could change them. "What do we know about the chasers?" Lee asked. Kim pulled up more images. "They're scanning everything, looking for something. Their ships are massive, sir. Each one is the size of a city, and they have weapons we've never seen before." Park worked at her computer. "I'm getting more of the message now. The running ships call themselves the Galactic Preserve Alliance. They say they're the last survivors from many worlds. The things chasing them destroyed everything else." Lee walked to the big window that showed the surface of Earth far above. Down here, 3 billion people lived in hidden cities. They had good lives, safe lives. But what if safety wasn't enough anymore? "Choi, how good are our hiding ships?" Lee asked. "The best in the galaxy, sir. At least we think so. No one has ever found us when we don't want to be found." Choi smiled a little. "We've been watching alien ships for 50 years. They never saw us once. Can we help the refugees without the chasers knowing?" Choi thought for a moment. "Maybe, if we're very careful." "Very quiet." Lee made his choice. It went against everything Earth had done for 2 centuries. But sometimes, the right thing to do wasn't the safe thing to do. "Kim, get your best ship ready. We're going to make contact." "Sir?" Kim looked surprised. "You heard me. We're going to help them, but we do it my way." "Quiet and careful," Park smiled. "Finally. I've been waiting my whole life to meet aliens. This isn't a party, Park. This is dangerous. One mistake and Earth gets found." Lee turned to address the whole room. "Everyone remember this. We're not revealing Earth's location. We're not telling them how many people we have. We're just helping some people who need it." Kim nodded. "When do we leave?" "Now take the ghost ship, full stealth mode. Park, you come too. We need someone who can talk to them." As the team prepared to leave, Lee looked at the screens again. The refugee ships were getting closer. Behind them, the dark ships followed like wolves hunting deer. Soon this chase would reach Earth's part of space. Lee had spent his life keeping Earth safe by staying hidden. Now he had to keep Earth safe by stepping into the light. It felt wrong, but it also felt necessary. Choi, how long until the chasers reach us? If they keep moving at the same speed, maybe 6 hours. 6 hours to save the refugees and figure out how to stop whatever was hunting them. Lee had made hard choices before, but this felt like the hardest one yet. Sir, Park said quietly, what if we can't hide from them? Lee looked at her. Then we fight. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. As alarms began to sound softly in the control room, Lee knew that Earth's long silence was about to end. For better or worse, humanity was about to meet the galaxy, and the galaxy was about to meet humanity. The quiet planet was quiet no more. Kim ran toward the ship bay, his crew following. In minutes, they would launch into space on humanity's first contact mission. It wasn't how anyone had planned it, but sometimes history didn't care about plans. Lee watched the screens as both groups of alien ships moved closer to Earth. Soon, everything would change. He just hoped they were ready for what came next. The day of galactic contact had begun. Captain Kim Tae-won sat in his ship watching space around him. The ghost ship was the best hiding ship humans had ever built. It made no sound, sent no signals, and looked like empty space to any scanner. He had flown it for 5 years and never been caught. Contact in 10 minutes, said Dr. Park So-min from the seat behind him. She was nervous but excited. I can't believe we're really doing this. Stay calm, Kim said. If they detect us before we're ready, this whole mission fails. With them was Dr. Shin Woo-jae, Earth's best language expert. He had spent his life studying alien signals from far away. Now he would finally meet the aliens who made those signals. Their main ship is huge, Shin said, looking at his screens. But it's damaged. Big holes in the side. Whoever is chasing them really hurt them. The refugee ships were limping toward Earth's solar system. Their engines left trails of fire and broken metal. Some ships looked ready to fall apart. Kim could see escape pods floating in space around them. There, Park pointed. The biggest ship. That must be their leader. Kim flew the ghost ship closer. The alien vessel was the size of a small city. Its hull was silver and blue, with strange writing covering the sides. It looked beautiful even with the damage. I'm reading their signals now, Shin said. It's definitely a distress call. They're asking anyone who can hear them for help. Can you answer them? Kim asked. I think so. Give me a minute. Shin worked on his computer trying to build a translation program. Their language is complex, but I'm finding patterns. As they got closer to the refugee ship, Kim saw something that surprised him. The alien ship had weapons, but they were not powered on. These people were not looking for a fight. I've got something, Shin said. I can send them a basic message. Should I tell them we want to help? Kim thought about Commander Lee's orders. Be careful. Don't reveal too much. Tell them we're here to assist. Don't say where we're from. Shin sent the message. They waited. Then lights began blinking on the alien ship's hull. More signals came back. They're excited, Shin said, reading the responses. They want to know who we are. They're asking if we're part of something called the Inner Systems Defense. What's that? Park asked. I don't know. But tell them no. We're independent helpers. More signals came from the alien ship. Shin worked to translate them. His face grew serious as he read. What are they saying? Kim asked. They want to warn us. They say the things chasing them will destroy everything they find. They call them devourers. They eat planets and turn people into machines. Kim felt cold. How long until these devourers get here? Shin asked the aliens. The answer came back quickly. 3 hours. Maybe less. We need to get back and report this, Park said. But before Kim could turn around, something happened. A new voice came over the ship's radio. This one spoke clear English. Unknown vessel, this is Alliance Command. Please identify yourself immediately. Kim, Park, and Shin looked at each other in shock. The aliens could speak their language. Shin answered carefully. This is an independent rescue vessel. We received your distress signal. Independent? From which system? Our sensors show nothing in this area except refugee ships and... Wait, where exactly are you? We cannot locate your vessel. Kim smiled a little. The ghost ship was working perfectly. Even with their advanced technology, the aliens couldn't see them. We prefer to remain unseen, Shin replied. It keeps us safe. There was a long pause. Then the alien voice came back, sounding amazed. Impossible. Our scanners are the best in the galaxy. Nothing can hide from them. Apparently something can, Park whispered. The alien voice changed, becoming more respectful. Unknown vessel, I am Commander Vex of the Alliance Fleet. We have been fighting a war against the Devourers for 30 years. We are the last survivors of 47 worlds. If you have technology that can hide from our scanners, you might be able to hide from theirs too. Kim made a decision. Commander Vex, we want to help. But we need to know more about these Devourers. Meet us aboard our command ship. But I warn you, time is short. They are very close. Kim looked at Park and Shin. This was getting dangerous, but they needed information. We'll come aboard. But just 3 of us agreed. Use Docking Bay 7. As Kim flew toward the alien ship, he saw other refugee vessels up close. They came from many different worlds. Some ships looked like giant flowers made of metal. Others were perfect spheres covered in lights. A few looked almost like Earth ships, but bigger. So many different people, Park said softly, all running from the same enemy. They docked with the command ship. As they walked through the airlock, Kim checked his weapon one more time. He hoped he wouldn't need it. The inside of the alien ship was amazing. The halls were wide and tall, with walls that seemed to glow with their own light. Strange plants grew along the corridors. The air smelled like flowers and metal. Commander Vex was waiting for them. He was tall and thin, with blue skin and 4 arms. His eyes were large and kind, but Kim could see fear in them too. Welcome aboard, Vex said in perfect English. I apologize for the condition of our ship. We have been running for a long time. How do you speak our language? Shin asked. We have been listening to signals from this area for many years. We learned your words but never found your world. Where do you come from?
Kim answered carefully.
A small planet. Not important. Vex studied them. You are very careful with information. Smart. The Devourers can use any knowledge against you. He led them to a large room with windows showing space outside. Other aliens were there too. Some looked like giant insects. Others were covered in fur or scales. All looked tired and afraid. This is what remains of the Galactic Preserve Alliance, Vex explained. Once we protected 100 worlds. Now we protect only ourselves. Tell us about the Devourers, Park said. Vex's expression grew dark. They are not truly alive anymore. Long ago, they were people like us, but they created machines to make themselves perfect. The machines took over. Now they are half machine, half living things that exist only to consume and grow. He touched a wall and images appeared. Kim saw pictures of beautiful worlds being torn apart by massive ships, cities burning, people screaming as they were captured and changed into cyborg soldiers. They turn everything into themselves. Vex continued. Planets, people, entire star systems. They have consumed half the galaxy already. Why are they chasing you? Shin asked. Because we are the last free people. When we are gone, they will own everything. Suddenly, alarms began ringing throughout the ship. An alien with tentacles instead of arms rushed up to Vex and spoke in a language Kim couldn't understand. Vex turned pale. They are here. The Devourers have arrived at the edge of your solar system. Through the windows, Kim could see dark shapes appearing in the distance. The Devourer ships looked like nightmares made real. They were black and covered with things that looked like both machines and living creatures. We must run again, Vex said sadly. I am sorry we brought this danger to your home. But Kim had an idea. What if you didn't have to run? What do you mean? What if there was a way to fight them? What if someone could help you win? Vex looked at him with surprise and hope. Do you know of such people? Kim smiled. Maybe. But first, we need to get you to safety. As the Devourer ships moved closer, Kim realized that Earth's long period of hiding was about to become Earth's greatest weapon. The galaxy was about to learn what humans could do when they decided to fight. Admiral Bae In-suk had never seen anything like the Devourer fleet. From Earth's main command center, she watched as the enemy ships spread across the edge of their solar system like a dark cloud. Each ship was massive, covered in weapons and strange growths that pulsed with red light. How many? She asked. 200 ships at least, reported tech specialist Oh Jun-ho from his computer station. Maybe more coming behind them. Bae felt the weight of 3 billion lives on her shoulders. Every person on Earth was depending on her decisions in the next few hours. Ma'am, Captain Kim is requesting immediate return, said Communications Officer Nam Soo-jin. He says the aliens have information we need to hear. Tell him to hurry. We don't have much time. On the main screen, the Devourer ships began to spread out, forming a search pattern. Their scanners sent beams of light in all directions, looking for anything that might be hiding. "They're very thorough," O said, watching the enemy movements. "They're checking every asteroid, every piece of space junk. If they find one of our monitoring stations—" "They won't," Bay said with confidence. "Our people built those stations to be invisible." But even as she said it, she worried. These Devourers had conquered half the galaxy. They must be very good at finding things. Captain Kim's ship appeared on the docking bay cameras 20 minutes later. He ran to the command center with Dr. Park and Dr. Shin behind him. "Admiral, we have a big problem," Kim said, breathing hard. "The Devourers aren't just conquerors. They're something worse." He quickly explained what Commander Vex had told them. The Devourers were once normal people who had become machines. They turned everyone they captured into cyborg soldiers. They wanted to make the entire galaxy like them. "But here's the important part," Dr. Park added. "They find their enemies by detecting brain signals. Every living thing in the galaxy sends out mental energy. The Devourers can sense it." Bay frowned. "What does that mean for us?" Dr. Shin spoke up. "It means they should be able to find every human on Earth easily. But there's something strange. The aliens were amazed that they couldn't detect us, even when we were right next to them." O looked up from his computer. "Admiral, I think I know why. I've been studying the Devourer scanning patterns. They're looking for specific types of brainwaves, mental patterns that most aliens have, but not humans." "Exactly. We've been isolated for so long that our brains work differently. We don't send out the signals they're looking for." Bay felt a spark of hope. "Are you saying we're invisible to them?" "Not invisible exactly, but much harder to find, like trying to hear a whisper in a room full of people shouting." On the screens, the Devourer ships continued their search. They were getting closer to the inner solar system where Earth waited. "What about the refugee ships?" Bay asked. "Hiding behind Jupiter's moons," Kim replied. "But they won't stay hidden for long. The Devourers will find them soon." Bay made her decision. "Then we fight." Everyone in the command center stopped what they were doing and stared at her. "Ma'am," O said, "you heard me. For 200 years we've been preparing for this day. We've built ships that can't be seen. We've learned to move without being detected. We've mastered the art of being ghosts." She walked to the center of the room. "These Devourers have conquered the galaxy by being stronger and more ruthless than everyone else. But they've never fought an enemy they couldn't see coming." Kim smiled. "A ghost war." "Exactly. Oh, I want every stealth ship we have ready for battle." "Kim, you'll lead the first strike team." "What's our target?" Kim asked. "They're scanning ships. If we can blind them, they can't find the refugees or Earth." As the command center burst into activity, Bay called up Pilot Officer Yoon Hae-jin. He was young and eager. Exactly what they needed for this kind of mission. "Yoon, how would you like to be part of history?" "Yes, ma'am." "What do you need me to do?" "Take a stealth fighter and get as close to the Devourer fleet as you can. I want to know everything about how they operate." Within an hour, Earth's ghost fleet was ready. 12 ships that could hide from any scanner. Each one carried weapons designed to disable rather than destroy. They needed to stop the Devourers without alerting the entire fleet. Kim led the first attack. His target was a Devourer scanning ship at the edge of their formation. It was smaller than the main battleships but covered in sensor equipment. "Ghost 1 to command," Kim reported over a secure channel. "I'm in position. The target has no idea I'm here." "Proceed with the attack," Bay ordered. Kim's ship fired a pulse weapon that scrambled electronics. The Devourer scanning ship went dark for a moment, its sensors failing. Direct hit. "They're blind," Kim reported. But something unexpected happened. Instead of trying to fix their scanners, the Devourer ship began broadcasting a signal to the rest of the fleet. "They're calling for help," O warned from the command center. "It's worse than that," said Yoon from his position near the main fleet. "They're adapting. The other ships are changing their search patterns to cover for the damaged one." Bay realized they were dealing with an enemy that learned fast. But humans could learn fast too. "All ghost ships, new plan," she broadcast. "Hit multiple targets at the same time. Don't give them time to adapt." The ghost fleet struck like lightning. Devourer ships all across the formation suddenly lost their scanners. Their communications went quiet. Their weapons powered down. For the first time in decades, the Devourers faced an enemy they couldn't see or predict. "It's working," Kim reported. "They're confused. Some ships are firing at empty space, but the victory didn't last long. The Devourer command ship, a monster the size of a moon, began to glow with a different kind of light. "What's happening?" Bay asked. O's face went pale as he read his instruments. "They're doing something to their own ships, changing them somehow." On the screens, the Devourer vessels began to transform. Their hulls opened up, revealing organic parts inside. The ships were becoming more alive, less machine. "They're adapting to fight an invisible enemy," Dr. Park realized. "They're making their ships more biological so they can sense us differently." Yoon's voice crackled over the radio. "Admiral, you need to see this. The command ship. It's not just a ship. It's alive. Really alive." Bay looked at the image Yoon was sending back. The Devourer command ship was covered in what looked like skin and eyes. Massive tentacles grew from its sides. It looked like a creature from nightmares. "They're not just using machines anymore," she said. "They're becoming something else." The biological Devourer ships began to spread out in a new pattern. This time they moved like hunting animals instead of military vessels. "Can they see us now?" Kim asked. "I don't know," O replied, "but I think we're about to find out." One of the ghost ships, piloted by Lieutenant Huang Min-ho, suddenly appeared on Devourer sensors. The biological ships turned toward him like sharks smelling blood. "Ghost 7, get out of there," Bay ordered, but it was too late. The Devourer ships moved faster than anything that size should be able to move. Energy beams shot out, barely missing Huang's ship. "They can see me," Huang reported, his voice tight with fear. "I don't know how, but they can see me." Bay felt her heart sink. Their greatest advantage was gone. The Devourers had adapted to fight invisible enemies. But as she watched her pilots struggle against this new threat, she remembered something important. Humans were good at adapting too. "All ships fall back to position 2, she ordered. "We're not done yet. It's time to show them what humans do when Plan A doesn't work." The Ghost Fleet pulled back, but they didn't retreat. They regrouped, ready to try a new approach. The Devourers might be able to adapt, but they had never fought humans before. And humans had one advantage that no machine or biological monster could match. They never gave up. Dr. Anya Jin worked frantically in her laboratory deep beneath Earth's surface. She had only hours to find a way to stop the Devourers, and the captured alien technology on her table might be their only hope. "The biological changes don't make sense," she muttered, studying the scans that Yoon had sent back from the Devourer command ship. "They're not just adapting. They're becoming something completely different." Above her, the battle continued. Admiral Bay's Ghost Fleet was fighting a hit-and-run war against an enemy that could now detect them. The Devourers were learning faster than anyone had expected. Commander Lee entered the lab, his face grim. "What do you have for me, Yejin?" "Something impossible," she replied, pointing at her computer screen. "The Devourers aren't just using biological parts. They're becoming one giant organism. Every ship, every soldier, every weapon, they're all connected. Connected how? Through something like a shared mind. But it's not natural. It's artificial. They built it." She pulled up more data. "Lee, I don't think they chose to become this way." "What do you mean?" Yejin showed him recordings from the captured Devourer technology. "These are memory fragments from their computers. Look at this." The screen showed images of a beautiful world with tall cities and peaceful people. They looked almost human, but with silver skin and large eyes. "This is what they were like before," Yejin explained. "They were called the Zeth. They were scientists and artists. They created the network to help them share knowledge. But something went wrong. Very wrong. The network was supposed to connect minds while keeping individual thoughts separate. Instead, it consumed them, turned them into extensions of itself." Lee stared at the images. "They're prisoners in their own bodies." "Exactly. And the network keeps growing. Adding more people, more worlds. It can't stop itself." From above, they heard the rumble of ships launching. More ghost fighters were heading out to battle. "Is there a way to break the connection?" Lee asked. "Maybe. But it would require getting inside their network somehow. And that means—" Yejin paused, realizing what she was about to suggest. "That means someone has to connect with them directly," Lee finished. Before Yejin could respond, Sergeant Kang Do-hyun burst into the lab. He was the leader of Earth's elite Marines, the soldiers who did the impossible missions. "Sir, we have a problem. The Devourers found one of our outer colonies. 3,000 people." Lee felt his blood go cold. "Are they still alive but trapped?" "The Devourers have surrounded the colony with some kind of energy field. They're not attacking. They're just watching." Yejin understood immediately. They're studying them, trying to figure out how human minds work. How long before they break through our mental defenses? Lee asked. Not long. Maybe hours. Once they understand how we think, they'll be able to detect every human in the galaxy. Lee made a command decision. Kang, I need your best people for a mission. What kind of mission? The kind where you probably don't come back. Kang smiled grimly. My favorite kind. What's the target? The Devourer command ship. We're going to infiltrate it and try to break their network from the inside. How do we get aboard a ship that's the size of a city without being detected? Engineer Choi Mi-young appeared in the doorway carrying a strange device. With this, she said, I call it a silence bomb. Everyone looked at the small metal sphere in her hands. It doesn't explode, Choi explained. Instead, it creates a field of absolute silence. Not just sound, mental silence. The kind humans naturally have. If Ye-jin is right about the Devourer network, this should disrupt their connection. Will it work? Lee asked. In theory, but someone has to get it to the center of their command ship and activate it manually. Kang stepped forward. I'll take a team. This isn't just dangerous, Kang. Based on what Ye-jin found, you'll have to interface with their network directly. You might not survive the experience. Then I better make it count. 2 hours later, Kang and his team were aboard a modified ghost ship, heading toward the massive Devourer command vessel. With him were Choi, 2 other Marines, and a young tech specialist named Ryu Jin-woo. Remember, Choi said as they approached the enemy ship, once we're inside, we have maybe 20 minutes before the silence bomb's power runs out. After that, they'll detect us. The command ship was even more terrifying up close. Its hull pulsed like a living heart. Tentacles the size of buildings moved across its surface. Actual eyes opened and closed as they watched for threats. There, Ryu pointed to a section that looked less heavily defended. That appears to be a maintenance port. Their ship attached to the hull with barely a sound. Kang and his team put on special suits that would help hide their thoughts from the network. Inside the Devourer ship, everything was wrong. The corridors were made of both metal and flesh. Veins ran along the walls, pumping glowing fluid. The air was thick and warm, like breathing inside a living creature. This way, Choi whispered, following her instruments toward the ship's center. They passed chambers full of cyborg soldiers standing motionless like statues. These had once been people from dozens of different worlds, all connected to the network that controlled them. So many, Ryu whispered. Don't think about it, Kang warned. Focus on the mission. As they went deeper into the ship, they began to hear whispers. Not through their ears, through their minds. The network was trying to connect with them. The suits are holding, Choi reported, but not for long. They reached the ship's core, a massive chamber where organic computers grew like trees. In the center was something that looked like a brain the size of a building. It pulsed with the thoughts of millions of connected minds. That's it. Ye-jin's voice crackled through their communicator. The central processor? Place the silence bomb right next to it. But as they approached, something unexpected happened. The whispers in their minds became clearer. Help us, the voices said. Please help us, Kang stopped. Did you hear that? The original minds are still in there, Ryu realized. They're trapped, but they're still aware. The central processor seemed to notice them. Lights flashed, and suddenly they could see images in their minds. The beautiful world of the Zeth before the network took over. Children playing. Artists creating. Scientists discovering. They're showing us what they lost, Choi said, tears in her eyes. And asking us to free them, Kang added. He placed the silence bomb next to the central processor. But before he activated it, he did something that surprised everyone. He took off his helmet. Kang, what are you doing? Choi shouted. Making sure this works right, he replied. The moment his mind was exposed, the network tried to connect with him. But instead of being absorbed, Kang's human silence began to spread through the connection. The effect was immediate. All around them, cyborg soldiers began to stumble. The organic computers flickered. The whispers in the network became screams of confusion. It's working, Ryu reported. The network is breaking down, but Kang was in pain. The network was fighting back, trying to force itself into his mind. Activate the bomb, he ordered through gritted teeth. Choi pressed the button. The silence bomb created a wave of mental quiet that spread through the entire command ship. For the first time in centuries, millions of minds were free. Throughout the Devourer fleet, ships began to stop moving. Soldiers removed their mechanical parts. The network that had controlled them for so long was breaking apart. On Earth, Admiral Bay watched in amazement as the enemy fleet simply shut down. What happened? She asked. Humanity happened, Commander Lee replied with pride. But the mission wasn't over yet. On the command ship, Kang and his team had to find their way out before the freed Zeth decided what to do with them. And in the silence left behind by the broken network, something new was beginning to grow. Sergeant Kang Do-hyun woke up in a room filled with soft light and the sound of gentle music. For a moment, he couldn't remember where he was. Then it all came back. The mission, the network, the silence bomb. "You are awake," said a voice beside him. Kang turned to see a figure with silver skin and large, kind eyes. It was one of the Zeth, but this one looked different from the cyborg soldiers. This one looked free. "My name is Nira," the being said in perfect Korean. "I am a healer. You have been unconscious for 2 days." 2 days? Kang tried to sit up. "My team, are they safe?" "They are fine. Your engineer Choi is helping us repair our ships. Your tech specialist Ryu is teaching our children about human technology. They are fascinated by your ability to hide." Kang relaxed a little. "And the network?" Nira's expression became sad, broken. "We are free for the first time in 3 centuries. But freedom is difficult after so long." She helped him stand and led him to a window. Outside, Kang could see the inside of the massive command ship. But it looked completely different now. The mechanical parts were being removed. Gardens were growing where computer banks used to be. The Zeth were rebuilding their ship into something that looked more like a city than a weapon. "Your sacrifice saved us all," Nira said. "When you opened your mind to our network, your human silence spread through every connection. It gave us the strength to break free. It wasn't just me. My whole team risked everything. Yes. And now we must decide what to do with this freedom you gave us." Nira led him to a large gathering hall where hundreds of Zeth were meeting. Commander Vex from the Refugee Alliance was there too, along with representatives from dozens of other species. "The galaxy is in chaos," Vex explained when he saw Kang. "Half the Devourer fleet has shut down completely. The other half is trying to rebuild the network, and some ships are fighting each other." "What about Earth?" Kang asked. "Safe. Your Admiral Bay sends her congratulations and asks when you're coming home." But before Kang could answer, an elderly Zeth approached them. His silver skin was marked with scars and his eyes held the wisdom of centuries. "I am Elder Seren," he said. "I was alive before the network took us. I remember what we were like when we were free." He looked at Kang with deep respect. "Your people have given us a gift beyond measure. How can we repay this?" Kang thought about it. "Help us fix the mess that's left behind. There are still Devourer ships out there that want to rebuild the network. And there are billions of people across the galaxy who need protection. You want us to fight? I want you to choose. For the first time in 3 centuries, you can choose what to do with your lives." Elder Seren smiled. "Then we choose to help." Over the following weeks, an amazing transformation took place. The freed Zeth ships became mobile hospitals and repair stations. They traveled to worlds that had been damaged by the Devourer War, healing and rebuilding. Earth's Ghost Fleet worked with the Refugee Alliance to hunt down the remaining network ships. Captain Kim led these missions, using human stealth technology to approach enemy vessels and deploy silence bombs that freed more prisoners. Dr. An Ye-jin worked with Zeth scientists to understand the network technology. Together, they found ways to detect and disable network connections without harming the people trapped inside them. "It's incredible," she reported to Commander Lee. "The Zeth were more advanced than us in many ways, but they never learned to value silence the way we do. That's what made the difference." Commander Lee stood in Earth's command center, watching reports come in from across the galaxy. Worlds that had been dark for decades were sending out signals again. Entire species that had been enslaved were calling for help. "Sir," said Communications Officer Nam Soo-jin, "we're getting a signal from the Galactic Core. It's from something called the Council of Free Worlds. What do they want?" "They want to meet with Earth's leaders. They're calling us the Silent Guardians and asking if we'll help establish a new galactic government." Lee smiled. After 2 centuries of hiding, Earth was being invited to help lead the galaxy. Admiral Bay entered the command center carrying a message pad. "Lee, we have a decision to make." "What kind of decision?" "The kind that affects the next 1,000 years of human history." She showed him the message. It was from dozens of species across the galaxy, all asking the same thing. Would Earth help them build a new kind of galactic civilization? One based on cooperation instead of conquest? They want us to be peacekeepers, Bay explained. Our stealth technology makes us perfect for stopping conflicts before they start. Our ability to resist mental control makes us immune to the kind of network domination that created the Devourers. And they're offering us membership in something called the Silent Council, a group of species that will work together to prevent another network from rising. Lee looked at the screen showing Earth's hidden cities. 3 billion people who had lived in safety for 2 centuries. Now they were being asked to step out into a dangerous galaxy and help keep it peaceful. What do you think? Bay asked. I think we've been hiding long enough. 6 months later, Captain Kim stood on the bridge of humanity's first diplomatic vessel. It wasn't a ghost ship, it was designed to be seen, to show the galaxy that Earth was ready to take its place among the stars. Beside him stood Dr. Park So-min, now Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Council. Behind them, a mixed crew of humans and aliens worked together to explore new worlds and prevent new conflicts. Captain, reported Pilot Officer Yoon Hai-jin from the helm, we're approaching the Kepler system. The local government is requesting our assistance with a territorial dispute. Take us in, Yoon. Let's see what we can do to help. As their ship moved through space, Kim thought about how much had changed. Earth was no longer the quiet planet hiding from the stars. It was the silent guardian that watched over them. The Zeth had built monuments to humanity on dozens of worlds. The Refugee Alliance had renamed itself the Silent Alliance in honor of Earth's contribution. And across the galaxy, species that had never heard of humans were learning the value of quiet strength. But the greatest change was on Earth itself. The hidden cities were opening to the surface. For the first time in 2 centuries, humans could look up at the night sky without fear. You know what's funny? Kim said to Dr. Park as they watched the stars pass by. What's that? We spent so long learning to be invisible that we forgot how to be seen. Now we have to learn all over again. Park smiled. I think we'll figure it out. In the distance, a Zeth ship was escorting a convoy of refugees to a new homeworld. Former Devourer vessels, now converted into research ships, were studying nebulae to understand how new stars were born. And somewhere in the galaxy, young beings from 100 different worlds were learning about the small planet that had taught the universe the power of silence. Earth had found its voice at last. And it was teaching the galaxy to listen. The day of galactic contact was over. The age of galactic cooperation had begun. And in the quiet spaces between the stars, humanity's greatest lesson echoed. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is know when not to act, when to watch, when to wait, and when to step forward and help others find their way home.